welcome back to my channel, News for Kids. Today, I have very shocking news for you. The world's biggest iceberg is going to hit an island in South Georgia. We at News for Kids have been routinely informing you about the dangers of global warming, iceberg meltings, and rising sea levels in our past episodes. But today, we are about to reveal a very shocking incident that will signify how dangerous the global warming situation is. Imagine the plight of the residents of this British overseas island, which is about to get hit with this humongous iceberg. How big, if you ask? Well, it's about 150 kilometers long and 48 kilometers wide. This graveyard iceberg is floating from north since 2017 and is heading towards this island, which is only 500 kilometers away. South Georgia is located in the Atlantic Ocean and is a British overseas territory. This island is famous for two reasons. One, this island is a base for many scientific research labs. And two, do you remember the incidents of the ship named Endurance, which got stuck in ice for many days? Eventually, the crew members Shackleton, Worsley, and Crean had to leave and find rescue for their remainder of the ship's crew. They rowed for 1300 kilometers in a lifeboat in search of a rescue team. This incident happened way back in May 1916, where this crew in the lifeboat in search of rescue landed first time on this very island in South Georgia. They crossed many mountains and glaciers to search the other side of the island and finally alerting one Norwegian team of sailors stationed there. With their help, the whole crew of Endurance was finally rescued in September 1916. 5 months after they left to find rescue. So, who are the residents of this island in South Georgia? Who will get affected due to this massive iceberg collision? Remember the movie Happy Feet, where the mother penguins give birth to baby penguins and leave the eggs to find food, while the father penguin guards the eggs till the time the mothers return with food. Maybe many of you may not remember, so have a look at this brief clip to revive the memory.
Let me tell something to you. I know size can be daunting, but don't be afraid. I love you.
Jump and move and jump and move and jump and move.
Turn to the penguin next to you and give him a great big hug.
What you hugging me for?
He told me to.
Get away.
Now you like it.
Yes, the main resident of the island are the penguins, seals. And yes, it is the same situation here too, where the mother penguins are out in search for food, leaving their little eggs behind on this island, while this iceberg is just 500 kilometers away and it may hit the island in a few weeks' time. It seems very difficult for the mother penguins to return to their little babies before the collision occurs. Hence, it is a very grim situation. Even if they wish to reach the island before, in time to rescue their babies, they have a long detour to take to cross over this 150 kilometer iceberg. Beside penguins, the island is also home to huge marine life. It is a hotspot for recovering population of humpback and blue whales, largest number of albatrosses in the world, and seals. So now, if you ask, how can we as humans intervene and avoid this collision? Well, sadly and importantly, humanly, it is impossible to divert such a huge iceberg. Hence, there are limited possibilities. But There are few factors which may work in favor of this island and its residents. Strong wind and current may divert this graveyard iceberg or it breaks into pieces. Hence, now it's up to Mother Nature on how this mishap can be avoided. But I repeat, humanly, it is impossible to intervene. This iceberg is moving at a speed of 1 kilometer per hour and collide in the island in approximately 10 days from now and has already traveled some 1600 kilometers as of now. Beside the penguins, the seals, humpback whales, blue whales, albatrosses, this collision will also create massive disruption for marine algae. Plus, this collision will affect the creatures living on the ocean's floor, and many of them store massive amount of carbon in their bodies. And this is churned up, then the carbon will eventually be released in the atmosphere. Our prayers are with the babies, pups, chicks of penguins and seals and others who are stranded on this island, waiting for their mummy penguins to bring back food, supplies, and we strongly hope that this collision is averted. In order to signify the importance of global warming, we are sad to inform you that today we will skip our mandatory fun zone and leave you all with this thought: how important it is for each of us to consider living responsibly. Join us to pray for the island residents, and we leave you with a brief clip.
World's biggest iceberg is on a course with British Island in South Atlantic. A massive iceberg the size of Delaware is on a collision course with an important wildlife habitat in the southern Atlantic Ocean. If the iceberg, known as A68a, runs aground on South Georgia Island, it could endanger land-based predators' ability to forage for food. The world's biggest iceberg, called A68a, is heading directly towards the sub-Antarctic island of South Georgia, where it could wreak havoc on the local wildlife for years to come. Satellite imagery shows the iceberg, which is larger than Rhode Island, drifting northeast towards the British Overseas Territory of South Georgia. As the British Antarctic Survey explained in a release yesterday, the gigantic chunk of ice, should it reach the island and become anchored to the seafloor, would disturb the local wildlife, which includes seals and penguins. Iceberg A68a broke off from the Larsen Sea ice shelf back in 2017, and it's currently the world's largest iceberg at 1,873 square miles, according to recent figures provided to Gizmodo by a BOZ spokesperson. The iceberg has shrunk a bit since it plopped into the ocean, but it's still a behemoth, measuring about 98 miles long and 30 miles at its widest point. But A68a's depth is less than 650 feet, 200 meters, which means it'll likely clear the seafloor along the shallow shelf surrounding the island. The iceberg could be stuck there for 10 years, Tarling said, disrupting the ecosystem and the fishing industry of the island, which is a British territory.
Thank you. And for such more news every week, do subscribe to our channel. It encourages us to keep the work going, so you stay informed.